The anime opens with Princess Yasselan of Mars showing off her clothes and talking about Earth to her friend Slaine Troyard. Slaine was born on Earth and inhabitants of Earth are known as Terrans. Over to Japan, there are discussions about the visit of the Princess of Mars to Earth. She is coming to ease the tension between both sides. Inaho eats his breakfast and leaves for school. His sister, Yuki Kaizuka, woke up late and will be late for her drill. We learn about how humans colonized Mars and the rise of the Firth Empire that utilized the Aldnoah technology there and claimed ownership of Mars, thus leading to a conflict with Earth. Inaho rides on the bus with his friends, Okasuk, Calm, Nina and Inko. It is also revealed that it has been 15 years since Heaven's Fall, an incident during the war when the moon crashed on Earth. This is already giving off an action sci-fi vibe, and I'm loving it. In school, the kids are being taught how to pilot these war machines. Yuki arrives and meets Lieutenant Marito, who is always drinking. Marito later on tells Dr. Yagura'i about the Tanegashima report and how the incident of 15 years ago was covered up by the authorities. Count Crutheo informs the princess that her shuttle is ready and she travels to Earth. Inaho, Okasuk, and Calm leave school to come watch her arrival, but some strangers in the crowd pull off an assassination attempt. Count Sosbom uses this assassination to push his propaganda, telling the 37 clans of Mars to retaliate, subdue Earth and avenge the princess. Count Crutheo arrives on Earth with his landing castle and there are confirmations of 19 other landing castles arriving in different locations on Earth. The destruction of Earth begins. The Mars Imperial forces continue their assault on Earth. They destroy several undersea cables causing various networks to shut down. Various Earth satellites are also under attack in orbit. We see the overwhelming strength of a Martian war machine. Their cataphracts are powered by the Aldnoah technology, giving them an insane advantage. The cataphract destroys all the Earth forces around it, and it is revealed that the situation is the same in other cities. Orbital Knight Trilram decides to attack Shin-Awara, where the princess was assassinated. Inko, Calm and Okasuk help to evacuate the civilians. Inaho wanders the street and he sees two girls who turn out to be the Princess of Mars and her aide. She explains to him that the person killed in the assassination was a double. She was ill so couldn't make the parade. Trilram arrives on Earth with his cataphract, and the first thing he does is to kill the civilians that were contracted to assassinate the princess, as he doesn't want to leave any witness. But the leader's daughter, Rayat Arash, survives. Trilram, using his cataphracts, kills all the Earth soldiers around him. He begins to chase Inaho and his friends. Rayat, the princess and her aide, are in the same car with them. Count Sosbom orders Trilram to ensure that Rayat Arash is killed. Inaho and his friends have now arrived at their school and decide to use the training equipment there to fight Trilram's cataphract. There's a thin line between bravery and stupidity, but this seems like blatant stupidity. Marito arrives at the military base and meets Captain Magbarrage, and together, they agree to rescue the students. Count Sosbom is tired of waiting for Trilram to kill the girl, so he wants to bombard the entire city, but Trilram lets him know that Count Crutheo is nearby and will be affected by the bombardment. Inaho and his friends share the knowledge they now know about Trilram's cataphract. Rayat and Princess Yasselan, who is still wearing a disguise, volunteer to help. The next day, Marito and his squad begin their rescue operation. They see a signal for an attack coming from the direction of the school. As Inaho and team leave the school, they fire rockets at the cameras that help Trilram to see. A battle ensues between the kids using training equipment and Trilram. After Trilram corners their truck, Princess Yasselan comes out of the truck, walks towards Trilram and reveals her Arie identity to him as the Princess of Mars. Marito and Captain Magbarrage arrive with their squads and attack Trilram. They destroy the bridge and the cataphract falls into the water. Inaho stabs it in one of its weak spots, avenging Okasuk in the process. Inaho is a prodigy quite alright. The now injured Trilram reveals to Slaine that his clan planned the assassination of the princess. Slaine gets angry and shoots Trilram, killing him. Several meteors enter Earth's atmosphere and Inaho and friends are happy that they made it out of Shin-Awara on time. Captain Magbarrage oversees the repair of everything. Princess Yasselan introduces herself to Inaho as Selam, a poor disguise, right? Anyways, at this point, Rayat is the only one that knows her true identity. The princess finally shows Inaho her real identity and tells him that she needs to reveal herself to her grandfather, the ruler of Mars, as that could end the war. In Mars, Slaine tells Count Crutheo that Trilram died in the meteor bombardment, making Crutheo feel some animosity towards Count Sosbom, who ordered the bombardment. On their way to their destination, Captain Magbarrage and crew notice a Martian cataphract. The cataphract uses its laser beam to destroy Severa other ships. Inaho and Calm get into their machines and attack the cataphracts, but their bullets are ineffective. Mizusaki arrives. ABND tells them to fire non-explosive rounds at the enemy. The episode ends with Crudio refusing Slaine's request, saying he is not worthy to avenge the princess. A flashback 5 years into the past is shown, and we see how Slaine arrives in Mars on a rocket. Now in the present, the Emperor of Mars is told about his granddaughter's assassination, but when he learns that it was a terrorist act, he feels no hostility from Earth. He orders an investigation to uncover the truth. Inaho and Inko are congratulated for saving everyone, and Captain Magbarrage says that if they were enlisted, she might have given them medals. Later, Mars announces an armistice. Calm and Inko are surprised at how sudden it developed. Count Crucio is annoyed that the Emperor has issued an armistice, and Count Sosbom learns that Trilram did not die in the bombardment, so he tells his loyalists to investigate Count Crucio. These two counts are heading in a collision course for sure. While they are still discussing what to do, a sky carrier arrives from Mars, breaking the armistice. It turns out to be Vlad, the cataphract they fought off in the last episode, and he has come back to reclaim his honor. There seems to be gross indiscipline and a poor level of control among the Martian army. The soldiers mobilize and fight Vlad's cataphract. They are warned to use AP rounds instead of the normal bullets. As the fight rages on, Inaho activates his war machine and engages Vlad in combat. Soon, he drags the arms of the cataphract and orders them to tilt the ship. He deploys his airbag and ejects from the machine, leaving both cataphracts to fall into the water, and the ensuing explosion destroys Vlad. How is a student this good? Inaho is a genius talent. Slaine heads into the audience chamber to speak with the Emperor. However, it is revealed that Count Sosbom has already poisoned the mind of the Emperor concerning Earth. The Emperor of Mars declares war on Earth, and everyone, including Selim, is shocked. Count Crucio wants to kill Slaine, but Count Sosbom wants to ask him some questions about his father's research on Aldnoah. Marito tells Inaho and the others that the Orbital Knights have finally gotten their dreams of attacking Earth without a care. Captain Magbarrage drafts the students and some of the refugees as soldiers. While discussing with Inaho, Marito states that before the moon crashed on Tanegashima, the Martians came down there first. There's a huge conspiracy about this Tanegashima place. Marito explains that him and his unit used old tanks and went up about the Martian cataphracts, but they were no match for them. Slaine escapes from the people that want to kill him, and he launches himself in a SKT carrier towards Earth. They sail their ship towards Tanegashima, and it is revealed that Captain Magbarrage's brother was Marito's best friend and he died during the fight in Tanegashima. Captain Magbarrage believes Marito's report on the incident. As they get to Tanegashima, they are attacked by flying fists. The fists return to the multi-limbed cataphract. They all gather round, shooting at the numerous flying fist. Inaho is able to deflect several of the flying fist, but when it seems like all hope is lost, a projectile from the sky destroys one of the fists. Slaine arrives and destroys the remaining fists. Count Crucio observes the battle in Tanegashima. As the crew continues fighting the cataphract that produced those fists, they discover a hidden dock on the coast. The crew is able to escape inside it, leaving Inaho, Slaine and the other fighters to deal with the cataphract. Selim begins to wonder if this is all her fault. If she had not come to Earth, then the assassination attempt wouldn't have happened, thus the war wouldn't occur. The crew members discover a Martian cataphract inside the cliff, and it is revealed that it is the same machine that Marito and his crew faced 15 years ago. Inaho and Slaine devise a plan, utilizing great teamwork, and they defeat the fist-wielding cataphract. It's always a good thing in anime to see two enemies come together to defeat an opponent. Slaine and Inaho have a misunderstanding about the princess, and Inaho, using his war machine, shoots Slaine's sky carrier out of the sky and watches as it falls into the water. The crew members soon discover a battleship with the name Deucalion inscribed on it. They realize that the ship was abandoned because it uses an Aldnoah drive. Selim reveals her identity to them all as the princess, and she activates the Aldnoah drive. In Mars, Slaine is being tortured by Count Crucio. He is electrocuted when he refuses to talk, and Count Crucio also whips him badly. Hisaki reveals to Calm and Inko that Selim is the princess, and they are shocked that Inaho knew, but kept the information to himself. Slaine begins to have a conversation with Count Crucio, and he assumes that the Count is responsible for the assassination attempt. Princess Selim thanks Inaho for saving her multiple times, but he brushes it away. When Count Crucio is informed that about another cataphract, the Deucalion being seen on the island and that its Aldnoah drive has been removed, he finally realizes that the princess is alive and that she survived the assassination attempt. Slaine confesses that he killed Toram because Trilram was going to kill the princess. Count Crutheo finally realizes that Slaine is loyal to the princess and tells his aides to patch him up, but suddenly Count Sosbom appears in his cataphract, destroys the castle and kills Count Crutheo. Slaine wakes up in Sosbom's castle. The Count reveals that he is the ringleader of the assassination attempt. However, he will not kill Slaine due to the debt he owes to Slaine's father. Rayet wants to practice piloting a cataphract through the simulation, as she claims she can pilot it because she plays a lot of video games. The next scene is a humorous one, as Yuki states that her younger brother, Inaho, would be marrying into serious money if he marries the Princess of Mars, startling Inko. This made Inko so uncomfortable that she had to take a break. "I can smell a crush here." Dr. Yaguri borrows the simulation to use it on Marito to help him overcome his PTSD. It recreates the Tanegashima incident, and we see that the cataphract that Marito and his best friend fought could control gravity. The cataphract easily threw all the tanks away. Marito's friend, Hume Rayhead, was stuck in the tank while it caught on fire, and he begged Marito to shoot him and save him the pain of getting burnt alive. Marito had to shoot and kill his friend, Captain Magbared's brother. A discussion ensues between Slaine and Sosbom, and we learn that he wants to invade Earth to expand his territory. In the shower, Rayet sneaks behind the princess and strangles the princess with her necklace. It seems like this princess has a covenant with assassination attempts. The Aldnoah drive shuts down and the ship crashes into the snow. With the Aldnoah drive shutting down, they suspect that something has happened to the princess. While Kasasuke, Mizusaki and Nina try to repair things in the ship, Inaho cannot find pulse or any sign of breathing on Princess Yasselan, who is lying down on the shower floor lifeless. He performs CPR on her using the defibrillator and even proceeding with mouth-to-mouth resuscitation to revive her. Rayet reveals herself as the attacker and says that her father was the leader of the previous assassination. Inaho quickly disarms her and Warrant Officer Kaizuka takes Rayet into custody. Through a conversation between Sosbom and Slaine, we learn that the gravity-controlling cataphract that Marito and his crew fought was piloted by the woman that was to be Sosbom's wife. Sadly, she met her end in Tanegashima when the moon came crashing down, so it's easy to see why this guy hates Earth so much. The Deucalion ship finally arrives at Earth's headquarters, and everyone there is surprised to see a flying battleship. The princess asks Inaho if they will still be friends after the war, and he answers in the affirmative. Princess Yasselan chooses to make a broadcast to Mars to show that she is alive and stop the hostilities, but the people that intercept the message are loyalists to Count Sosbom, so it doesn't get to her grandfather. Sosbom knows that it is now time for the final battle. He frees Slaine, telling him to join his army or flee to Earth. Landing on Earth, Sosbom's Anding castle destroys all the missile launchers defending the base. It launches its own attacks that perforate the bedrock of the base's bunker, and several of Sosbom's warheads start to enter the base. The Martian soldiers have been told to kill the princess on sight. Marito tells them that the Martians have no interest in negotiating. Rather, they want to claim Earth their own. Inaho and the princess plan to use her Aldnoah controlling abilities to deactivate Sosbom's ships and defeat him. Slaine, true to his nature, steals another sky carrier and begins to descend to Earth. The crew members engage Martian infantry in battle, and we see Slaine fly over the base in search of the princess. The princess is riding in a car being driven by her aide, and when the car gets attacked by some Martians, Rayet piloting a cataphract comes to their aid. I guess she just doesn't feel like killing the princess anymore. Everyone is now focused on the battle against Sosbom's castle. Inaho is using his now infamous orange-colored cataphract, and he lands on Sosbom's castle, shooting and destroying the anti-aircraft guns that have killed so many of the Earth warriors. Princess Yasselan and other fighters are now able to land on the castle safely while on the battlefield. Things look very dire for Nina and the others. With the Deucalion ship now embedded into Sosbom's castle, Marito has to confirm to Inko that they are all safe. Sosbom finally makes his appearance before the princess, and everyone now knows that he is the mastermind of the whole situation. The fight begins, and Warrant Officer Yuki is able to break a hole in the castle. The princess's aide is arrested by the Martian soldiers. They can't find her on the ship. Count Sosbom draws the full power of his cataphract, activating its dimensional barrier and beam sword. The sword he used to kill Count Crutheo. It is pretty cool and has enormous destructive capabilities. Just like the last time he was on Earth, Slaine is shot down from the sky again. He manages to get a Martian cataphract and he activates the Aldnoah drive, shocking himself in the process as he didn't know he was capable of doing that. To get to where the Aldnoah chamber is located in the castle, they have to go by foot, and the crew members are met with grenades as they try to navigate their way. Inaho saves Inko from Sazbom's cataphract, known as the Dioscuria. He finds the weak spot and shoots at it, knocking it down in the process. As the fight continues, Inaho injures Sazbom, enraging the Martian warlord further. An intense battle between Sazbom in his Dioscuria and Inaho in his orange-colored cataphract continues, and by the time Slaine arrives, they are both injured, but Sazbom is on his knees and in a clearly more precarious condition. The princess finally deactivates the Aldnoah drive from the chamber, shutting down all Aldnoah-powered equipments in the vicinity. She rushes over to Inaho, helping him out of his cataphract, but what follows is a tragedy as the princess is shot twice. Slaine turns and sees Sazbom wielding the gun. He shoots Sazbom repeatedly until his gun jams. Inaho and Slaine get into it again, but as Inaho draws his guns, Slaine shoots him in the head. The anime ends with Warrant Officer Yuki giving a narration. She says that in 2014, Count Sazbom attacked Earth. The battle ends in victory for the United Earth Forces, and that the Princess of Mars has not been heard from since.